have to leave that thought behind. Whatever it was. Okay, why? The fact that it's like as soon as all this stuff drops, it's just like, what's the bounce on that? I mean, yeah, stuff can bounce like that, but come on, like, sort of not really. Time! It's a thief! That's why time traveling really, you know, takes a lot of time. Oh. You can like feel like perfect for a minute. Back together with everything but glue. Like, for whatever reason. Oh my goodness. Competition is terrible. Competition is hell. The competition is straight hell. Fucking lol, dude. What happened to like all the people that look like straight up demons and stuff? It was like, I was like, better company in that place. At least for whatever reason. You know what I'm talking about? Like it really does. Like, it really is. Like, there are people that are better at holding all these thoughts. Like, realistically, you know. I said, like, I asked one guy a question, I was like, what? I said, like, what to him, you know? And the other guy just basically was like, alright. Actually, that's really basically all I said. It's like, alright. And then the other guy was like, just like, what? I didn't say anything else there in the entire time. But it was still terrible. Like the thought there was like still basically like horrible. But it's like, even this morning, it was just like it was different crowds. I mean, there was one familiar, but I mean, it really does make a difference. there are like people that are just like, all right, yeah, you know what I mean? Like we're all kind of on the same page. You can just kind of tell, like, all right. And who even cares if it's like that's just you? But I reverse all back to that whole thing that I did earlier. But I mean. What's something else that's kind of interesting is like, man, all my tweets are just deleted or whatever. Like, me trying to look at like my tweet that I said about tweet, it's gone. I mean, there's just a bunch. Just a bunch like that. It's just like, all right, like I literally like try to look up the word easy because I said like something very, you know. Like 4 words about something easy that was like pretty unique, and I was just like, all right, I'm gonna look that up again. Ridiculous. Just like all the friends that my computer is like putting as like my friends, all the friends that my phone is like putting as my friends. It's ridiculous. Like it's ridiculous. Okay, it's straight up ridiculous. All right. Like, well, like the videos getting deleted, and just like, not even like, you know, like, it's not even like posted anywhere. It's like just straight up in like in my phone. You think, whatever, all I have to do is like draw a straight line, and I can just be straighter than everything else, I guess. As long as I'm just straight, I mean, I can be straight with it. That's like being right. A circle actually left and a circle right, but I can draw a circle with my right hand and a circle with my left hand. Just wait until I draw the straight line with my left hand. Because, man, like, still, relatively, I mean, actually, really all I used to do is just, like, kind of meditate, really, anyways, but, oh, those are some bad thoughts today. Bad. I mean, like, you could, but it's like, it is different, like, the ability for, like, all that to hold itself by, like, the crowd. Find the right crowd. Like, hey, you know what? You don't understand what this place is. Sorry about it, but I don't think it's a spa. I mean, sure, I've like played everything in there so much that it's like, yeah, but you better just be smart. You should still be like smart and like then be able to like have a smart conversation or something like that. You can just tell when like somebody's like completely ignorant. Like, I can almost just like taste, I can like taste the ignorance. It's terrible. Like, you guys want to know the best way to like understand ignorance if there really was? Just like you can taste it. Just like, it's like eating like imitation humidity. It's terrible. Everything was genuinely pretty fine up until like I went back for like the second time that day and I was like, what the hell? It's like you can tell like a lot of like you know what I mean? Just like even if the thoughts are all like obscure, like at what point in time can I like trust the fact that it's like look at who's here? You know what I mean? Sure, I can obviously balance all that out because like what, like 7 minutes ago while playing this, I was just like, fuck it, like who even gives a shit about anything? And I don't know if there's a better place than this, just sitting here playing a video game like this. So definitely like whatever, like it's probably just like the number of the day. It's a number of the beast. You guys want to know what the real number of the beast is? It's just the what? What's the fucking number of the day? Like seriously, the fucking number of the day. But I mean, look at this shit. Like, what? Like, just like one thing fucking happens, and it's just like, holy fuck. Like it's like something just gets a little bit scratched or like dinged up. You know what I mean? It's like, well, fuck. All right. You know, like. What, I like can't be careful or like move something before I fucking move that, or like, you know what I mean, like, is this shit all gonna fucking break? Is there like something I'm not getting as to like being able to like, you know, I don't know, but obviously the judgment's really not fair unless it's just like the judge basically judges nothing. Probably is the most ironic but logical way to say that. Just like, this is fucked up, especially like, I don't know, going there today, just like I said, like tomorrow was kind of funny, like it was kind of funny, you know what I mean? Like I was just sitting there, I was like, I'm like, what? Like I'm 150 pounds. That dude is like almost like 7 feet tall. You know what I mean? Like just like, yeah, whatever. Like I look like a monk over here doing things. I got like my little fucking. Look like a snake staff or something, whatever. You know, just like, this is kind of, you know what I mean? Like, I don't give a shit. Like, I see ripped, huge people all the time. I grew up just like that, and I'm just like, whatever. Like, you do your thing, I'll do my thing. Like, I'm gonna like spin 360 and like twirl this like the sun in my palm or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. But. It's like I just like, yeah, that's kind of, you know what I mean, like kind of cool, you know what I mean, whatever. But really though, you can tell when somebody's just like spreading, like, what is it, like that is like, sure, at what point in time though is just like the conversation actually really like is like spreading you know, death, the breath of death. Like, should I be comfortable with that? Should I be like, you know what I mean? Like, it's fine. There's people that like, I go there with people that's funny that probably, you know what I mean? But what does death look like? Does death actually look beautiful, or does it just look straight up hideous and fucking ugly? You know what I mean? Or is it just like weird out of, you know what I mean? Like weird beyond imagination kind of thing, right? But I mean, it does actually just like, well, shit, like. The conversation can be better or worse, which, you know what I mean? Like, you can tell, like, it's fine. People go in there, people who do a bunch of, like, weird workouts and kind of thing, but it's like, yeah, when somebody is, like, straight up, like, you can just, like I always say, watch out for the belief. I say it every day. I say it every week. I say it every year. Watch out for the fucking belief, because, yeah, today the belief was fucking there, and it was like, watch the fuck out for that. Okay? Because that is like the idea that it's like, man, like you might really have to go up against your fucking name, like in this world. Whatever that was, like, you want to say what the fuck that was? Is like, if I was to make that relative to everybody, you might have to fucking go up against what your name means. If that makes sense. Like what your name fucking means. Like if your name can basically just be like fucking plagiarized so that it's like not even like fraudulent, but just like what your name fucking sounds like, basically, is like what the fuck that is. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's retarded. Okay? Like there are definitely ways around that. You know? We're just like, prove it. You know what I mean? Like, prove it or fucking be it. Otherwise, then it might actually be like fucking like, you know, maybe more so like fucking you could probably call it like get my fucking name out of your mouth or something like that. Is probably the like most universal way to put it before you get into like very obscure forms of reasoning. You know what I mean? Before you get into like forms of just as like an example, like you know, the idea of just like yeah, like get my like that's a pretty common one though. Like get my fucking name out of your mouth. Is like saying like you might have to like you know like oh everybody's name is a function sort of shit, which can be like a real thing too. But obviously, the easier way around that is just be like, hey, like, you fucking not like say that shit about me or something like that, or like try to like, you know what I mean, like say some stupid shit that's like, or whatever, because like, but so there's that. But then obviously the other like form of it as well is just like that's like spreading like straight up like you know just ignorance. Just straight up fucking ignorance. It's like that's not beneficial for anybody there. Nobody there. And especially the people that take that place like seriously. I can have that be a very intelligent place for people that A either want to have a lot of fun there, you know, B want to like work on something there, or like C they want to like go there to really figure something out. You can go there to like really figure something out if you like really want to like use your noggin. You know what I mean? Like I've written plenty of things about that place that's very interesting that if anybody wants to go there to try and figure out the idea of like the relation between distance, you know, and like closeness, basically to a place that embodies the idea of motion. You can go there and figure that stuff out, you know what I mean? But really though, it's just like what the fuck? Like but on top of that, it's just like you know, just like also just like one of those days, just like, all right, well, that happens and that happens and that happens and then like that doesn't. Then all of a sudden it's just like that doesn't work too. She's like, holy shit, you know what I mean? Like holy shit. So, and not only that, like I'm pretty fucking good at just like I mean, unless people really can fucking read minds and all this other bullshit and stuff like that, like, then what the fuck are any of us really doing? Anyways. I wrote out a way for that to be possible once, too. It's just like, alright, well, you know what? It's just like, probably like Moore's Law. Like, basically, like, you can do everything easier. That probably always makes something else more difficult. Whatever the fuck that is. Before we get into, like, real ideas of like just being you, which is probably pretty funny because you might be in more of like crowded places than ever and just like you could still be comfortable, especially in like a dystopian type of world, you know what I mean? If it's like here's like the thing of like dystopian or utopian, like if you want it to be like utopian, like just be basically just be fucking honest. Like, but you can be like, see, that can even be like a thing. Like, there's always more to be honest about. So as long as you just fucking keep up with the Joneses, and you don't have a problem with like keeping up with the fucking Joneses, then utopian's not like fucking really that bad because it's just like, all right, well, as long as I'm just gonna like have the mindset to just like keep going, you know what I mean? Or like dystopian, it's just like yeah, well, like realistically, you can sit there and talk about all this like shit of just like so much fear of just like, um, basically, it's like it's actually a fear of going nowhere because everything that you would almost assign to a dystopian type of realm is actually like a fear really of going nowhere, because the only real reason like is that based upon like the ability for things to observe, it means that you can't necessarily progress in any manner or claim a type of like progression to yourself, because the observation automatically disallows there to be personality. But the funny thing is that dystopian type of experiences will create a real, it's like the justice system. It will create a real idea of, the justice system was a little bit warmer, ironically, again, than it's something dystopian. Dystopian stuff is pretty kind of like coldish. But, you know, then the irony is that you probably feel a lot more comfortable with like, maybe honesty. You know, all these things have these fluctuating type of things. You probably feel a lot more comfortable with like, because you think everyone's in the same boat as you. So honesty, but it's just probably different kinds of honesty. You know, like I said, like if you have a problem with it, just you can probably equate that basically with just like the idea of just like keeping up with something. All right, but do I gotta like sit here and elaborate on one of these like every single day for all this stuff? Like, do I need to call my brother? Because this basically just sounds like I'm talking to him anyways. Just with like like how fucking on the throat it is. There's like some dystopian, utopian. You probably feel a lot more comfortable with like, I think where dystopian type of stuff leads is that obviously if that lasts long enough, even reason forms there, and so then it's like you have a personal, like the idea of infinite always will relate to either personal, like something personal, or something like impersonal, which is then even the idea of observation becomes something that's personal, which then allows sort of like the idea of like competition, but it's like competition in private. Just saying, that's basically how it fucking works. And so, you know, like there's that, but the justice system is just like, you're fucking out there. You want to know how the justice system works? You really are fucking out there, and guess what? You really might not know shit, but you know shit. All right, that's basically what it's like. And I'm just saying that because like I've lived in environments where it's like that's all it fucking was, is justice system, like 24/7 shit. You are out there, you know stuff, but you don't know anything. It's just like you know everything except for the people, basically. It's like you don't know the people is almost how it turns out. That's how the justice system basically fucking works.
My guy!
What's up, man?
Dude, not much. Good to talk with you. Long time no chit chat.
Well, I was just talking and I was like, it basically sounds like I'm already talking to you, just with like how harsh it is. So I was like, might as well just give him a call.
Dude, I'm grateful you did. I'm grateful you did. What were you talking? Or are you just like you down
I'm just gaming, and I was just like, man, I gotta like break down the day for a minute, because it was was like an alright day just up until like, I don't know, it slowly just got worse and worse and worse. Like, just like bumping things and like breaking, you know what I mean? Like breaking things and like bumping things and like, just like what the.
Oh, what broke? What happened?
Oh, just like little things, just like a little like trinket, but it's like, okay, well, now it's like not as like pretty as it was.
God.
You know what I mean? Like,
That stinks.
function, like,
That stinks. What
just
was
like
it?
stuff, just like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like
I'm
my
sorry to hear that.
like my controller.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like my controller, like part of it just like fell off, and I was like, dude, like I got everything back to like, back to like where I was, but dude, it was just like one thing after another. It was just like, oh my, like what in the world? Like I had a day like that like a couple days ago, and I was just like, all right, I gotta like say something, you know?
I need to get you a new controller, man. I haven't gotten you a birthday present in a while, or Christmas present. I need to buy you a new controller, because that one, when I was down there playing with it, it was so janky. I need to get you a new controller.
Well, I just have Xbox controllers. I have a bunch of them. I just like this one because I can plug it in and it doesn't like. I fixed it. Just like literally, just like all right, well, I like wrapped it in like tannin and stuff like that, dude. But
Well, I would love to get you one that's like new and that works well.
you should just.
Not
You
like
want to know what you should be like if I'm gonna like continue to just have Weston.
If you want to send me a link of
Westo.
whatever, I'd love to get you a new one.
Hey, Mr. Weston.
No.
You wanna? If I'm just like gonna like continue to be like a part of this family. The funny thing is like people can usually always say that without like questioning too much of like, you know, the realisms of like family units and stuff like that. Like, I'm gonna continue to be a part of this family. It's just like, bro, you should just like be my agent kind of thing. Like, remember when we were in like Epcot Center and it was just like, dude, I was like, be my ambassador, and you like, and then you just like took me somewhere else. I was like, be my ambassador, and then you just like took off after that. Bro, you need to be my like agent a little bit. Like, I don't know, like just like, obviously you're like you reach out through the proper platforms, probably more than anybody else. A lot of people like reach out, but I don't think they reach out through like proper platforms.
What do you mean?
Yeah, it's just like, well, like what? Considering like the realisms of just like people's situations, it's like I don't know if you guys are really on my team or not. Like, it's definitely possible to be like hate people within your family. You can still call them a part of your family, but it's definitely like a realistic thing that like certain people like hate different people like within their own family. You know?
I know they don't. No one of them hates you. Mom and Dad don't hate you. They're not.
Well, it's definitely. Well, I'm just saying, like, there's definitely. Well, I said that is like, that's a real point though, but what I'm getting at with that is like, okay, well, that is a realism, but I think that what that points to is like some people just aren't on your side. You know what I mean? Like some people will probably think of it as like competition more than anything. Like family is competition. Just like a lot of people probably think everybody's competition. And guess what? The guy who probably thinks that nothing in life is competition, he's probably your greatest competition. But I mean, all I'm just saying is like in regards to people's situations, you probably reach out in like proper channels more than a lot of other people. Branson's not that bad, but
I try. I really care about you, man, and I don't know, it's fun to chat with you, and fun to text with you.
Well, I'm just telling you what I think, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, well, I'm just telling you what I think. That's what I think. I just think, like, all right, well, I mean, like, what? There's, like, obviously statements that I'm, like like sitting by for a minute, where it's just like, if I'm gonna still be a part of this family, and I use that as like a, like, if I really had to like use reason enough, then it's like that could be for people that's like, you know, like, I don't know what really is a family anyways, you know what I mean? Because it's like, oh yeah, like, I'm really gonna still be a part of this family, because if you just consider what most people consider as a family, but then that's probably always could be a part of the conversation. But man, I don't know, like, you should be like my agent or something like that, like somehow, or some kind of thing.
Well,
Like,
how can I help you? How can I best
I
help
don't
you?
know. To be honest, I've always just kind of like, I don't know, tried my best. Like when I've communicated with you, I've always tried my best to just be like, okay, what is he interested in? Like marketing kind of stuff. Like, dude, like when you were doing all that stuff, a lot of my stuff was just like, oh, here's marketing. Like I was just like, oh, here's like some thoughts that I have on like marketing. A lot of my stuff now is just like whatever. I just like send out pictures and stuff like that, because it's like, you know, it's not so much like, oh yeah, he's into like marketing and he's into like whatever else. You know what I mean? Because in the past, I was just, yeah, like I was just like, all right, well, he's into that stuff. Like, here's this then, or whatever. But yeah, so I mean, the last stuff has just been like, all right, well, I mean, just here's like pictures, because it's like pretty, like, you know, you can like take it however you want, kind of thing. Because I don't necessarily know what everybody's into or whatever. So, but I just say agent, dude, because it's like that's pretty, like, that could be something that's just like, what, you really want to like be friends? You know what I mean? Friends and family is like an interesting kind of concept too, because like the people in your family should almost be friends, you'd think. But I'll tell you what, like if I really am with like really good friends and we do understand each other, dude, I'll speak with like my really good friends. I'll basically speak like Yiddish, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, all right, like, hey, you want to be my, like, what are you, my agent? You know, like, with, like, really good friends, like, what are you, my agent? You know, or something like that. It's just like, all right, like, that's good competition. That's, like, friendly competition. Because then it's just, like, everybody has to, like, but it's, like, light at the same time, you know? It's like light at the same time. But yeah, like my really good friends have always just been like that, with like, oh yeah, like we can like speak like Yiddish with each other. You know, just like get it? And then and it's like everybody just understands, kind of thing. Like we don't really have to explain that. Just like there's not really an explanation. It's just like it moves from like jab to jab kind of thing.
For sure, yeah. There's so much understanding that kind of sometimes you don't even have to speak and you kind of just get each other.
Yeah, well, you know, like I said, Weston, you wanna know what I care about? I care about the idea. Like, you want to hear me say I care about something? I care about the idea, man. I think the idea is like good, but I just had this thought the other day. It was just like, yeah, like I think he like, okay, like for family and kind of stuff, like, well, you know what I mean? And this is something like Arius is somebody, dude. Every once in a while I have a good conversation with him. But dude, usually when I do, we're out there, man. Like, bro, like I felt like I got in a boxing match with the guy like last time we went out with each other. It's like, holy shit, bro. Like you hit fucking pretty hard, dude. You know what I mean? I was just like yelling at him, bro. Like, but
Yeah, honestly, like I don't have very many conversations with artists either. I have a hard time. He's just really shy, and so I can't.
oh, I think he just thinks.
I try to talk with him and connect with him, but he just never gives me anything.
Well, I think he.
So
If you
I
had.
have a hard time connecting with him, to be honest. I
Yeah.
feel like almost Branson. I think even Branson has so much in common with him, but
Well,
Branson does too. So
I mean,
So I
obviously,
think it's not only you. Like,
yeah. Well, what he does have in common with Branson is pretty obvious, but like it's pretty obvious what he has in common with Branson and
well, he's
and
got a lot
me.
in common, but even then, it's
Listen, the commonality with Branson is obvious. Listen.
All I'm saying is, it's not only you that has a hard time connecting.
Yeah, well,
Really,
all I was gonna say is that every once in a while I do have good conversations with him, and he was just like, I like the idea. You know what I mean? And like that's what I think too. Is just like I think he just liked the idea. You know what I mean? Which is just like, all right, like I think he just liked the idea of it. You know what I mean? Like you can make that a point of just like I think he just likes the idea of it. Like it's like the idea for me, dude. Like it's like girls, dude. Cool idea, but for me, bro, like if I'm just being real with you, bro, like that is not like to me that is like completely like fairy tale world. And I'm not gonna try and say anything to you. I know that you just said you got a girlfriend and stuff like that. Obviously, I deal with people of all kinds of way crazier stuff than just someone having a girlfriend, dude. Cowboys running around in the gym and like, you know what I mean? Like people that are just like, bro, are you even a human? Basically, like no joke. Like, are you even an effing human, dude? Like seriously, I deal with that like every day. Like, it's not like I can't deal with the idea of like a girl or something like that. Well, I'm just saying, dude. For me, it's like cool idea. You know what I mean? Just like with family, like cool idea, and like I can play that still. You know what I mean? But I would just rather just be friends with people, and I'd rather just know who my friends were rather than having to like, you know, like have like friendship be a process kind of thing. Like, hey, you want to be my agent? Well, let's just see where that goes. You know what I mean? Like, we'll just see where that goes, man. If I, you know, like, whatever that even means. But, and like, who even knows? Maybe does that put me in a better or a weaker position? Well, James Bond is an agent, and he's usually considered above everybody else in his agency. So, I mean, take that as however you want to take that. You know what I mean? But I'm just like trying to like play, right? When I say that. So, it's all about how you take that and how you deal with that. But, I mean, that's something that Arias did tell me. He's just like, well, I like the idea. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. My thing with Arias, I think he just thinks about a lot of stuff, dude. And I think he's probably been through a lot. Who knows? He doesn't talk about a lot of that stuff. Who knows what he's been through, dude? Looks like he could have been through war, honestly, to me a little bit. So who knows? Who knows what kind of war? You know what I mean? I don't know, man. But he kind of looks like he has been. But I think the connection with him and Branson's pretty obvious, and then the connection with me is just like that. I'm just like it's like not as specific as with Branson, but with me, it's like I'm more of a general kind of in relation to that stuff. Like I can still handle all that stuff, but it's like it's not as specific as like him and Branson or whatever. And with you, bro, you're just out there, dude. Like seriously, like you might sound like the most down to earth out of all of us, but like, well, like realistically, right now you are the furthest out there. Like you sound pretty down to earth, but yeah, like realistically, dude, right now you are pretty far out there, bro. Especially because that place is like fairy tale land, dude. More than any other place I've almost ever been to. Like seriously. Like you're out there, dude. But you sound the most down to earth though. Like you sound the most down to earth, but
oh yeah, I'm out here, but I don't know, just same old Weston.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said. Like you sound down to earth, but dude, where you are is definitely not. I've been to a lot of places that is not, dude. Just saying, bro.
Well, it's been fun. It's been fun, but definitely just like anywhere else, just a bunch of people walking around. Even though the buildings look different than other places, it's just people. Like Mom always says, just people are the same just about everywhere you go, just trying to be happy. But I would be happy to be your agent.
Just do, I don't, like I said, just...
Double O Weston. Double O-W.
You can...
I know that's not the type
I
of
said,
agent
all I said was age, all I said was agent, bro.
I know it's not the type of agent you're talking about, but...
I don't care.
Anyway,
Hey, an agent's an agent.
W.
I don't care. An agent's an agent. Well, I left it at that. I was just like, whatever. You can like take that however you want to take that. But I don't know. I just heard you. I just heard you say like. I just heard you say a few words, and I was like, all right, well, then I'll just say this. I'll just say this. Like, yeah, dude. Well, I care about the idea. You know, like, if I actually cared about something. And I would think that the idea encompasses a lot of stuff, you know. So you should try to be like a little bit more like, you know, like a knight. You know what I mean? Like like make sure that you've got all your like. Like covering all your P's and Q's, like you're a knight out there in like Nottingham or whatever. Basically, dude. You should work on like, you know, like your coverage. You should like work on your coverage. I can like swing. I can like do a full. I can actually basically create almost a bubble. You really want to hear something? This is realistic, dude. I can almost basically, with a stick, create a bubble around my entire body all the way down to the ground within like a couple seconds. Just with how I wrote. Like, this is serious. This is serious, realistic stuff. Like, with a stick, dude, I can go 360 degrees around my body and basically create a bubble covering almost the entirety at once around my whole body, physical body. With a stick. Let alone give me time to like use like the idea of like like I can like, you know, give myself like some protection to like move to somewhere else while doing that at the same time if I had like a sword. But like give myself like a bubble around me while I'm like plotting a course at the same time, you know. You should like work on that while you're like out there in like Nottingham.
The sheriff of Nottingham, huh?
If anything, like work on like your stick figure like flip book stuff. Did you ever do that in school? Did you ever do that in school?
Dude, when I was in like second, maybe it was third, fourth grade, bro, I was like the king of just creating stick figure armies with bows and arrows because that was basically all I could draw. And so I just drew so many stick figures.
Really? What those bows and arrows?
And then there would be like
that's funny.
Another stick figure army on the other side of the piece of paper, and they would also have bows and arrows. And then I'd like, you know, make some of the bows and arrows be like in the air. Some of them would be sticking into other people. I have been bad at listening in school, I think, for a long time because that's what I did. Like in fourth grade, I think I saw one person doing it, a classmate. I was like, dang, that's sick. And then I just took like a whole year where I just drew hecka stick figure armies, all archers though.
What's with the whole bow and arrow motif there, you think? Why bows and arrows?
Just because they're easy to draw.
What do you do? Just like a D?
Swords as well.
What do you do? Just like a D and like draw like a line through it?
Yeah. Heck yeah, bro.
And a bunch of them. Who were they against? Just other Indians?
No, I couldn't draw any details of people, so maybe just a different color, or probably not. I think they were just all pencil people. They just were just, it's all a civil war, always. Because there's no differentiation.
It was just everybody versus everybody, huh?
Just everybody, no, there was two different armies, two different peoples, but they definitely were homogenous. They all looked the same, because I could only draw one type of stick figure.
But they were all against each other, though, right?
Always, well, the two armies were against each other.
Oh, you had actual fast fashions though, or whatever.
They grouped together, one army on one side, one army on another side, and they just be shooting arrows at each other.
Different. What do you?
I drew like a catapult. I could draw a catapult. That was easy enough, just like two-dimensional catapult. You know, I think I could draw a tank, a two-dimensional tank as well. So, but you know, that's when I started. Got a little bit out of historical context, because I could draw like a random tank, and then all I could draw was archers and some swords people.
A tank out of nowhere?
Just a tank, bro.
No, that's like some Black Knight kind of stuff. He like shows up with a lighter.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
One of your favorites, with whoever that guy is, whatever his name is.
Oh, Martin Lawrence?
Yeah, Martin Lawrence.
Oh, funny. That would actually be so fun. We need to watch that one. I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
Yeah, well, like last time you were here, I was like sitting there watching TV, and you were just like, you watched it for like 30 seconds, and then you like moved on.
Yeah, I remember that. I don't know why I didn't watch that. That would have been a fun one, honestly, to tune into. You know whose birthday's tomorrow? I have a reminder set on my phone. Vane Sadie.
Vane Sadie, huh?
Yeah. And someone named Gordon. I don't know. Oh, my friend Gordon. Yeah, but Vane Sadie, his birthday's tomorrow.
I think I messaged. I don't know. Like I said, dude, I see a lot of things in the gym. There was like one guy when I was like in like Provo, he like told me his name's Lucifer. I was like, all right. I was like, all right.
What a name.
I was like, what's up? I was like, hello. I was like, nice to meet you, Lucifer. You know? I saw some guy in the gym. I saw some guy in the gym that looked just like him. I was like, all right. I was like, all right. Some dude who looked like, I don't know. There are some people. We have people in our family though that have like biblical names though, so it's like not that obscure. Like Gabriel.
That's true.
So I like saw somebody. I was like, yeah, that's like a Gabriel. I mean, we did grow up with that. It's like, all right, okay, well, hi, Gabriel. How are you doing?
Gabriel. Gabriel. Oh, it's funny. Yeah, they have definitely some of the more unique names. I think probably the most unique out of any family in our family. They have Azaria, Angelica.
Yeah, unless you talk about on that side. On that side, unless you talk about like Keegan's family. They have like all African. They have all African names, dude. If you think about it, Paisley, like, they're like
African name.
Or like what's the one that like is though? It's like
old person name.
Oz.
More than an African name.
One of them is definitely like African though. It's like
Hetty. That's Adrian's daughter, Hetty.
Yeah. Dude, their names are like African. So.
I don't know about African. I feel like more just like grandma names.
I'm telling you, there was like one night I was like thinking about it, and I was like, they're African, dude.
They're not African.
Yeah, they are.
Grandmas, bro.
Yeah, they are.
They're just born in a different era. No African's name is Paisley.
It's not Paisley, it's the other one.
Rosalind?
Keep trying.
I don't remember the other girl's name. Zane?
No.
What's the other one's name? Okay, I'm looking up. Alright. Roz. Oh, looks like Rose. Let's see if she's got a family picture in here. I don't know. I do not know what her middle sister's names are. Anyway. What are they? Oh well. Maybe they are African. As far as I know, they are, because I don't know what they are.
They're African, bro.
They're definitely, you're right, they're definitely some of the more creative names.
Well, I'm just saying, if you're like, if I was gonna compare one families to like, I don't know, Troy's though too. Well, like Adam.
Troy's very, I feel like Troy's is super basic, bro. This is like
What?
the most basic.
Adam,
family.
Adam, Faith.
Faith is the only
Those are
one.
still not. Those are yeah, but Adam though is
What are
like.
you talking about? Adam is like one of the most common white boy names in the whole world.
Yeah, but it still is like. If you, maybe if you're like keep up with it, maybe if you're like think about it, maybe not. Really, how many Adams have you known? I've known like.
You can think about anything and make it not, but
I've known like 3 Adams, bro. 3 or 4 Adams.
I've known there's always been like 2 Adams in every single school class I've ever been in.
Oh, I still only know like 2 Adams.
Could name of Infinity Adams.
Yeah, you probably could if you want. You want to hear the lamest Adam joke there is? Don't ever trust an Adam because they make up everything.
Nice, classic.
That's the lamest Adam joke there is.
That's a pretty good one. Yeah, bro.
I don't know. Jerem's a black name, but
Jerem is not a black name.
kind of.
What are you doing obsessed with these black names?
No, I'm just. You're the one who like said they had interesting name. You're the one who like said they had interesting names, dude.
Jerome? What are you talking about? Maybe Jerome.
Yeah, well, that's probably all a matter of tomato.
No, it's not.
Let me just tell you this much. As they say, like, all you have to do is, like, change the lighting, and everybody's, like, if your eyes adjust to it for an instant, everyone's probably similar colors, but...
Yeah, Jerome, definitely black. Jerome is pale as a marshmallow. And then you got Sam. And you got Claire.
Alright, well, I'm just gonna tell you that I'm just gonna say something here really quick. Because it's like I've been just in, like, a reasoning mood. Before I even got on the call with you, I was just reasoning. Alright, well...
Give me your logic.
My whole logic is this, like... It'd be hard to tell if you really actually ever really did have a family, or you were just dealing in familiarities. And so it's just like, I'll just say that, dude. If you really are like somebody who like believes in like geometry and stuff like that, it really would be very hard to prove if you didn't just call people by what they were. It'd be very difficult. You want to hear something for like educational purposes? It would be very difficult if you were just that good at geometry and like recognizing things, to just call things what they were and like have them not answer, bro. I've reasoned that one out. So it's just like, then it just comes down to like, there's like smart people and there's not smart people. Watch out for both of them, man.
Wait, what? Whoa. I'm not tracking, my friend.
Listen.
I don't know where you started or ended.
Listen, familiarities. It's dumb because as soon as you say...
I get the family and familiarities thing, but
because you're just dealing with like physical... Because you're just dealing with like physical structures. Dude, if you do go to like Germany, like they call things like what they are. It's like, it's not like... It's more... Dude, it's like, this is like a wood shop. It's like literally the store is called wood shop. It's not called like Lowe's or something like that.
Okay.
All I'm saying is if you were that good at geometry, it would be very difficult to like realize if you were calling people by what they were or if you actually had a real family. Like, do I just call everything like Weston that's like a Weston? How am I wrong if I do that?
I don't really understand.
What is a Weston? What is a Weston? All I'm saying is like, yeah, well, what if like I can recognize what that is, and it's like when I just like call people a Weston, then that's what I call them, and they answer.
Okay.
If I was that, just hypothetically, if I was that good at that, you probably wouldn't be able to tell one way or the other if there was really relation or not. If I was that good at it. That's what I'm saying.
Tell their name was Weston?
If you knew they were a Weston. It's not if you could tell they were like tell their name was Weston. If you knew they were a Weston, it's like in Aragon, like calling people by their true name. This isn't like, it's like that kind of thing. Like it's like just.
I've never read the book before.
Yeah, well, in Aragon they have like what's called like a true name, and so it's just like, yeah, like if you call somebody by like their true name, then it's like they just answer automatically. So it's like, it'd be hard to, all I'm saying is that if you were that good at that, it'd be hard to tell if you like really had a family or not. That's like the far left. If you really want to know what like the far left is like, that's the far left. The far right is like saying that it's like, well, the real far right might just be like saying it's just you. But like one step back from that is like, okay, like things are real. It's like there are like actual limitations. It's like that's like what makes you straight. Like being straight is kind of like being right. Like if I draw a line, I'm like, that's not straight. That's like me being straight. That's like the far right. So it's like there are like actual limitations. The far left is almost like there are no limitations. Everything's an out. Everything's an escape. But all I'm saying is that if you were that good at that, then it would be very difficult to prove whether or not, like, if you actually really had a family or not, or you just like called people by what they were. I'm just saying, I'm just throwing it out there as like a quandary. You know what I mean? Like anybody want to quander about something, and just as like an out, I say that as like an out because we're talking about people. I might as well throw an out there, just like anybody want an out. Otherwise, we're just gonna like talk about. I could just say whatever. Well, I'm talking to you, you know, but. There's that, if anybody wants to grab it. So that it's like, whatever, you know, I'm going to cover my ass. Especially when I'm talking about other people. And especially when I'm talking about other people with one specific person. Because then it's like I'm more so talking to you and what you think that those ideas are. You know what I mean? But there's like the out of everything. Here's...
Yeah. I don't know, it's interesting. I think it's pretty easy to tell if someone's got a family. You just gotta look at their, I don't know, even if someone knows.
Yeah, well, we can talk about family or we can talk about people being happy or not. If you want me to, like, relate that even more. It's just like, oh, like, what are we really talking about? Are we actually talking about, like, oh, they have a family? Or are we just saying, like, oh, they're happy or not? I'm just telling you again,
saying, like,
it'd be very difficult if I'm just
the relationships
transitioning the conversation.
If
Again.
if you know, for example, if a person only knows the true name of another person, but that's one thing. But if you look at the relationship further, you know, you can pretty quickly tell, oh, they're not family. Like they may just be acquaintances or whatever. But
It's all a matter of how lost you are, bro.
I don't know.
It's all a matter of how lost you are.
Anyhow.
But the other thing is like, you know, you could say something like the rational way. Because I can just do all ways, dude. I'll say a square way, a circular way. Here's like, you know what I mean, like another way. Like is just to say like, don't talk. You know what I mean? Like, but it's hard to talk to anybody without there being any direction at all. Like, if you really want to talk to me and have it be like a good conversation that like really probably puts everybody in a better state, bro, it probably should just be about like math. Like, you really want to talk to me and have it be like a conversation that doesn't put anybody in like a worse state or a better state, we should probably literally be talking about geometry straight up. Like, do you know all the angles of like an isosceles triangle or like an equilateral triangle? Or a right triangle? Do you know what those are?
I do. Let's talk about something else though.
I'm just saying, like, that'd be a better conversation. It'd be a way better conversation.
Yeah, let's talk about that or just something.
What, a right triangle is 90 and 45 and 45.
Yep. That's isosceles.
It's right. An isosceles is 60. An isosceles is 60 60. No, equilateral is 60 60 60. Isosceles is, see, right is 90 because it's a right triangle, so it has one that's just square, which is 90 degrees. So it's 90 degrees and then 45 and 45 because it has to add up to be 180.
Isosceles is...
An equilateral is 60 60 60 because they're all equal and it has to add up to be 180. 60, 120, 180. And isosceles is like, it's like 30 90 90. 90 and 90, 30.
30,
That's
60,
right.
90?
30, 60, 90. 30. Is it 90 and 90 is 180? 30, 60, 90. Like, maybe it's just like 15, 15, like.
A triangle has two sides of equal length.
Yeah, they're just two. So, it's like.
So two of the angles are the same, but
Yeah, I know.
they can be all sorts of different values.
What was it, 45? It's just Weston. It's just. That's
45.
it's a right again. That's a right triangle again. What am I seeing? Shapes here?
I think
Who's gonna draw it? Who's gonna draw it for us? We need someone like. We need someone to actually demonstrate. Or sure it's not like 30, 30 is 60, and then like the other one's like 120.
And then the scalene triangle is where all the sides are different.
Scalene. No one ever deals in scalene triangles, bro. What is this, dude? No one ever deals in scalene triangles. What is this?
Scalene is all different. Isosceles is two are the same. Equilaterals, obviously.
I guess that could change, realistically. Isosceles, what? That's just anything where they're two the same. So it could be, what, like, 30, 30, 120 or whatever, right? As long as it just adds up to 180. As long as it just adds up to 180, right?
No.
I mean, why not?
Two of the angles in isosceles have to be the same.
Yeah, that's why I said 30 and 30.
Yeah, you could do that. 30, 30, 120, yep. Yes, sir.
Scalene, bro.
Yeah, bro. Scalings are wild. Scalings are wild cards, bro. They're crazy.
Yeah, well, I'll just tell you this about happiness, bro. Happiness is like the sun. You better just keep your distance. Otherwise, it's a whole tale of Icarus again or whatever. Just keep all that in mind, bro. Happiness, like, you probably shouldn't trust just as much. Like, you probably should just, like, at that point, you really should probably say, like, dude, you can be, like, real with, like, real things. You know what I mean? Like, you know what? Like, you can say you know people, but you can always say you probably don't know, like, everything about them. You know what I mean? Like, just being real. Like, there's people, and but it's like, realistically, you probably don't know everything about them. Always. You know?
Okay.
I'm just saying, like,
What game have you been playing lately? What video game?
well, you don't want to keep talking to me about, like, mathematical theorems? You want to get to a better place, don't you? That's really the only way to a better place, dude. It's not any other way. There is no other way other than math, bro.
Only math?
Well, it's definitely where the speed of light resides, which is like being in class. Which I'm just saying from experience is probably the, as they say, like, stay in school, like, you know what I mean? Like, how like, otherwise, like, this conversation is, this is already a long conversation, bro. 42 minutes? Like, think about it comparatively to, like, speaking with, like, people in your life. Usually you don't sit and have a conversation with somebody for 42 minutes. But all I was going to say is, like, getting to the point, like, we were getting to the point with that is that you don't know, like, you really don't know anybody. But realistically, you can say, like, you really don't know everything about anybody before you, like, get to the place where you, like, say you, like, you can't know anyone else. If I was to, like, quickly shortcut back to that, if we're, like, me and you were, like, drawing, like, a electric circuit board right here. Before I just say, like, realistically, you shouldn't trust the sun because of the tale of Icarus. It's just like happiness. Like, you can't believe that because, I mean, you never know. All you know is what you know. So you might as well just say, like, all right, well, the only thing I really trust in is, like, the speed of light. So, and, like, unless we're gonna say, like, we're just trying to set some record here to, like, talk for a long time, unless we're, like, having, like, a constructive conversation on how to, like, basically get things to a better state, like, logically through some, like, mathematical proof, which you want to talk about proofs of things. I'm just saying this because statistically this is where the words do reside. Proof usually only resides in a mathematical setting. Proof usually doesn't reside in any other form of this academics. It usually only really resides in a mathematical setting. Proof doesn't even exist basically anywhere else. But, you know, like, anyways, I just caught all that conversation back up without having any loose ends go anywhere. But I'm just saying, bro, like, you're sitting here talking to me, it's like cool, but it's like, is it really putting me in a better place or not? So it's like, do you really care about me? Yeah, do you really actually care about me? You know what I mean?
I do. I really do. I hope that you're...
Well, maybe you should send me some money. Well, maybe you should send me some money then.
I was telling you, I'd love to buy you a new Xbox.
Oh, that's not money. That's an Xbox controller.
Well,
maybe you should go on a mission. Maybe you should, like, go on a mission. Maybe you should, like, maybe you should just, if I'm being real with you, maybe you should just keep your money to yourself. I saw Mom today, and she was, like, doing a bunch of stuff, and I was like, whatever, like, but before I, like, I was like, I'll send something. I was like, I'll send something your way. You know what I mean? But it's like, obviously going through my stuff, dude, I'm not gonna like, there's like a lot of stuff that's like kind of inappropriate still. Just like, yeah, well, like that's cool. I could give that away, but it's like really just like, come on. Like, bro, are you sad or what? You know what I mean? Like, if you got a family, you shouldn't have to prove it. Like, that's another irony of family is like, family shouldn't have to prove themselves and friends shouldn't have to prove themselves. So if you got a family, you shouldn't have to prove it, dude. But like I just told mom, I was like, I'll send something your way. So I was like, I went through like all my stuff, dude, and I was like, oh, these are like simple little whatevers. It was like 2 little ducks that I had like won from an arcade. And I was like, I just went and set them out, and I was like, took a picture of them, sent it to her. I was like, here, I was like, go grab them. You know? But like honestly, dude, like, you know what I mean? Like, obviously the judgment of like my situation probably isn't helping my situation necessarily. Like, if you can obviously like point out like flaws, just like saying, like, just being realistic with you here, man. Like, if you can like point out like obvious, like, you know what I mean, like flaws within my like specific situation in my environment or like my tools and things like that, it's just like you know, I just think like, hey, well, there's probably something better to talk about in the first place. You know, there's probably like something, you know, like of a higher order that we can talk about. Considering everything that we have talked about, it's just like we're really going to talk about a controller. We just like spoke about how it's like somebody could get through this entire life without really knowing if they had a family or not, if they could just recognize things. Like, we're going to talk about like a controller. Like, I don't know. It just seems like
trivial.
Yeah, well, it's like passive aggressive. It's like talking to dad. You want to talk to the most like passive aggressive person that ever existed, talk to dad. Like, passive aggressivity, dude, is like the worst thing ever, because it's just like, it's like the idea of like human, that is like the idea of human error. But
I think you're misunderstanding, because I know they care about you a lot and they don't want that to be the case. They're being passive aggressive.
See again, well, I'll just compile it into the same place of just like, what, anybody looking at my like situation kind of thing, and just like, you know, the whatever judgment is there. Obviously, you're not being. I'll just say this: you're not being competitive. You're not being very competitive.
Oh, they just raised you since you were a little baby and a little boy, and so they know they just want you to be.
Talk
happy.
about death, bro. Why don't we talk about death more?
Since you were.
Talk about death more, bro. Let's just talk about death. Let's just talk about death more, bro. Like, guess what? You want to use science? Guess what? You really can't prove if anything's instantaneous or not, dude. Like, you can't. Just to let you know. You have no idea if this whole conversation is just an instant from everything. Like, I'm not... Why would I ever go down a conversation that leads me down a road of just, like... You know what I mean? Like... Yeah, I'm helpless. I'm never going to admit that, dude, because I want. And if anybody takes away something's ability to want, that's what you shouldn't trust in this world. You shouldn't trust that. And guess what? I've always been like that, dude, as long as I can remember. So all I'm saying is that you're not being very competitive. If you really want to help people out, you should be competitive. And if you're not being competitive. And I'll just say this much. Like, you're probably not really helping. Like, competition is the best way.
Help you, bro. That's what I want to do.
Okay, well then just be competitive. Don't do any of this. Don't do whatever else it is you're doing.
How can I be competitive? Tell me what you need.
I don't know. How are you thinking of being? Do I really? I'd like it to be the same way as you being an agent. If I'm like, bro, you want to be my agent? And whatever, it's just like, oh, you're gonna go on all
Give
the.
me the nuts and bolts. What
You're
are
just
you
gonna
talking
have
about
fun,
here?
dude. What? You're just gonna have fun, bro. You should be competitive. You should just have fun and not, bro. Leave the worrying up to God, dude. You want to leave the worry up to somebody? Unless you want to play God, you should probably say that. Just say you're playing God then. Like, if you're gonna like sit there, I don't know, like what? You really want me to be compassionate? It's just like, well, I'll take something out of the Bible. Like, judgment is basically for nobody but Jesus, according to the Bible. You know what I mean? Or it's not up to anybody but Dad, according to Frederick Nietzsche or whatever his name is. Some Nietzsche kind of thing. So,
Yeah, Nietzsche is a trash bucket, dude.
I'm just saying, like, according to, like, whatever, I'll just say two things. According to Nietzsche, the only one that's judgment's up to is Dad. But according to the Bible, the only one that judgment's up to is Jesus, so everybody else can just shut up. And if you're actually talking to me and we're, like, dealing in realisms rather than idealisms, I'll just say, like, just be competitive and just have fun, because you're probably not helping anybody. Like, consider all the facets of, like, what it takes for somebody to be in a good situation or not, like, all the way down to biology to, like, the spinning of the entire planet. Like, bro, you better just try to do as little as possible and, like, the most good, like, possible in that sense. Because, bro, you can be a charity case either way. Like, all they do is, like, somebody who only does charity basically is a charity case, dude. In my book. Because they don't see the great... Because it's like they're trying to prove... It's just like, alright, well, then you should play God. Like... Or you don't believe in, like, independent truth or independent good. You know? Like, there's lots of problems, dude. And especially anybody that's, like, you know, like, relevant to this situation, you should just be competitive. You should probably worry about yourself. Like, I know for a fact that I am competitive. Okay? Like, I have no problem saying that. I am very competitive. And I'll just say this. You want to latch onto emotion? Then you probably shouldn't worry about anybody, because all you're saying is how, like, fallible you are by worrying about other people. You want to latch onto emotion reasonably, you should probably just believe that if there is emotion, you shouldn't have to worry about anything with emotion. If you really do believe in it. But passive aggressivity, dude, Dad is the worst person on this planet about being passive aggressive, bro. Like, it's like, and I've just barely had some, like, really profound thoughts about passive aggressivity, dude. Just like the littlest form of passive aggressivity is, like, just obtusity, really. The only way to really fight that is just, like, with commas. Just like, Austin, now he's scary. Well, were they talking about me, or were they about to say somebody else? Wherever you put the comma in that, definitely going to change the whole thing. But dealing with Dad is like that. You better just know where to place the commas, bro. Almost the same thing with God. Okay? Like, if you really want to know, like, you're dealing with God, or if you're dealing with Dad, you better just know where to place the commas, because obtusity is the worst kind of passive aggressivity there is. You just have no idea if it's, like, directed at you or not. That is passive aggressive. Is it really directed at me or not? But it's just like, you better just stick to your guns and, like, probably say as little as possible when you're dealing with anybody that's passive aggressive. And you should probably, like, always be able to, like, mirror whatever the passive aggressivity is, so that it just doesn't, like, fall on you, so that no one thinks you're Dad. It's fine to play Dad, dude, but I'll tell you this much, like, there is definitely, like, there's probably plenty of sayings with, like, you know, like, I think it's fine to, like, play Dad. You can play dead. You can play dumb. You know? You can play God, even. Well, I'll just say this much, like, just don't be, like, Be smart, bro. Just be smart, dude, because there is like some idea of just like, you know, realisms of where it's like and I know that there's common sayings where it's like, you know, if you do fall into that whole category of just like becoming a dad, like there really is like you'll be called something, dude. In terms of like this smart community, you will be called something. Like unless your name is like, you can even get around that, like your name's like Data from like Star Trek or something like that. The dude's obviously named Data, bro. You know? Like there's the out of that, but it's just like, yeah, like you're gonna be called like a like just you're gonna be called like a just I know there's a saying. See, it's pretty easy. Yeah, obscurity is pretty passive aggressive, but just dealing with any idea of order, dude, especially the higher and closer that, like, you want to hear some more like rational things about family, the higher and the closer that you always perceive that order to be, it's always going to be much more obscure than you think. And it would be very hard to prove if you weren't just dealing with something that was like just sending out messages in all directions, like the sun. But if you're dealing with like dad or like the idea of God, it's much more like the moon. The idea of like the sun is much more of like just the idea of like, you know, like either like violence or sexuality is like the energy of the sun, really. But the idea of like the moon is much more of just like the idea of family or like the idea of like benevolence. But you better just realize that each of them are like, to the naked eye, even the sun, a complete circle. Like that's pretty easy. That's pretty easy geometry. Like that's pretty basic, easy geometry. You look at the sun, it's a circle, basically perfect. Look at the moon, basically a perfect circle. So you better just realize that it's like you're dealing with any of those things, you better be able to deal with the obscurities of whatever that is. Like, and like there's probably, I know that I can probably say something really good about just like what you, so it's like I'm like respecting things at the same time. But I mean, I've already said enough to where it's just like everything could be reduced to like an unknown anyways. Just watch out for the duns, dude. The people that have done everything, watch out for them. There's know-it-alls, bro, and then there's the duns. Okay, like know-it-alls, they might know everything, but have they done anything? The duns, bro, they might just look at you and be the most jealous people on the entire planet because they think, well, like that guy should definitely like have what I've done. And they won't even think about it. Watch out for the duns. And so it's like, to prove it to themselves, they have to prove that that's what you are as well. Watch out for the duns. Watch out for the know-it-alls, bro. And like, I feel like I'm being pretty safe because I'm including a bunch of unknowns. Like, you know what I mean, in my conversation. Maybe I'm like imitating the sun or imitating the moon, you know, to an extent. But I don't see myself like flying around in outer space and like looking at the earth or whatever, so I don't know, maybe I am. Who knows, dude?
You wanna see something cool?
What?
I was gonna save it to after a conversation, but I just drew something real quick. I'll text it too. I just drew something just freehand, you know?
Are you just gonna text it to me?
I just texted it to you. Actually drew two of them. Two different versions. I may have used AI to draw it. It's supposed to be me riding a dragon flying over Notre Dame campus saying, "Good night, brother, love you."
Well, you typed it up, right?
Yeah, I typed it up in GPT. Yeah, it's me on a dragon saying good night, love you.
Well, no one ever probably will say you're not like imaginative or creative for that. So
I've done this. Oh, it's so fun, dude. It's so fun to just have it create random images. What should I do? What should I create?
I haven't messed around with that much, to be honest with you.
Huh?
So I haven't messed around with that much, to be honest with you. Chat GPT or whatever.
Any ideas of something I can create right now? For fun?
You should type in. You want to try and mess with the internet? You should type in Cleverbot and see what Chat GPT does with that.
Draw a clever bot?
Cleverbot's like an insane, like basically it's an insane like computer entity on the internet you can go to.
Well, what should I have it create? What should I have it draw?
That was just the first thing that came to mind. Just like draw Cleverbot.
Draw a clever bot. Alright, see what it says. Let's see what it does. Clever bot.
Just because I know that's like a mirror on the internet.
Creating image. Beep boop bap beep 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 boop bap beep beep boop boop. Yeah, I'm trying out GPT-4. Oh. So I got a little subscription for it. Here's what it did when I did Cleverbot. Basically just a smart robot.
Here's the dumb thing for being called a dad. Don't get called done. Don't ever be told you're finished.
Hey, bro, that's crazy, dog.
Well, did you get it drawn? Don't ever let anyone tell you that you're done. Oh, that's what it drew for Cleverbot, huh?
Yep. That's pretty insane, huh? Look at the details in that thing, bro. It's so nuts.
Well,
should I ask, no.
It's all according to like my other...
How about I do this? How about a dumb bot?
Like, there's like dumb waiters. Those have been around forever, though.
How about an unclever bot?
There comes a point in time, though, where like science and technology definitely goes up against magic, and magic and technology goes up against choice, which is like religion. Religion still holds its own, like in terms of the age of the world and all this stuff, because religion represents basically the idea of choice, which technology comes up against, and so does magic even too. It just will all come up against the idea of choice.
Alright, just sent you
That's Dumbbot.
I did unclever bot.
Which one do you like better, the TV guy or the almost like feminine looking one? The one looks like a cool kid. Like he looks like a.
Cute.
Well, I was gonna say it looks like he could be like a. Like he looks adventurous. Like I said, that's like a doer versus a thinker right there, bro.
How about a dinosaur? Clever bot. A dinosaur. Dinosaur unclever bot.
Dinosaur unclever bot, bro. You might have to do that. Time also equates everything as well, because it's just like, how old are you for you to get enjoyment out of this? You know what I mean? Like that equates with the idea of artificial intelligence. If you want to equate artificial intelligence, just like, how old are you to be able to enjoy this? Really?
All ages. two different images. I've never seen it do that before.
Superheroes and psychology also always goes up against technology. What are the differences?
A space.
What's the differences of those?
Ranger, a space cowboy, dinosaur, clever bot, shooting a laser pistol at Zerg.
Bro.
No, at a Protoss Dark Templar.
Bro.
Let's see what happens.
Right before I was talking to you, I was also talking about like people's words in their mouths, and also dystopian and utopian in the justice system. Psychology goes up against all this as well. Basically, always psychology is always an end game thing.
Not perfect, but pretty cool.
Did it actually come up with something? I mean, time. It's all a matter.
It's pretty complicated, so it's pretty good.
It's all a matter of time, bro. Everything actually is really a matter of time. You want to know what is like the greatest skill for like computers though, is being able to like describe what you're looking for, really. That's like Google in a nutshell. Like, how well can you like actually describe something? This is your ability to like use Google.
I know, right? It's true.
So what, is it just basically like another search engine, like search function? Because here's the funny thing. You could have realistically almost always done this with Google. You really want to think about it? Kind of interesting. Most search engines, right? Like, and that's something you'll never be able to prove, is if the internet didn't ever exist before you, because like I said, you don't know what you don't know. But yeah, like, so what with Google, based upon how well you could type that in, like, you know what I mean? And how many things is Chat GPT gonna go before it like gives you a missed like query or like whatever, you know? But you could always search like Google Images or whatever else.
I just said draw a Terran Marine shooting at a Zerg Hydralisk in Layton, Utah. See what it does.
I had some people ask me where I was from the other day. I was like, hell.
Sheesh.
Well, you know,
Hill Air. Start a conversation.
Well, Hill Air Force Base is not that far off.
That's not.
I was just trying to be like universal, you know.
Yeah, that's not a good way to start a conversation. People are gonna have no clue what you're talking about.
What, they don't know what hell is? Well, then where the heck am I, bro? People don't know what hell is. Where the heck am I if they don't know what the hell is?
Yeah, but you know people are going to misinterpret what you're saying. Not understand.
Yeah, well, should I really consider people that much that can't take like a jab like that? I'm from hell. Should I like, should I really
It's that joke,
think about it though? Like, think about it. Think about it. How, like, what, am I not to be able to like say like, there are still, even if I'm being real, people that I probably prefer to and not to speak with. You know what I mean? Like, realistically, it's just like, what? Someone can't take a jab like that? Like, do I really want to associate with them anyways? Let alone, like, ideas of privacy and stuff like that.
Let's see.
If I have any sense of, like, decision in this world.
Let's see. I want to draw a Protoss Z-Lot fighting a. Fighting a samurai on. Let's see. Where should they be? What location? Name any location. It's like Mad Libs.
Do you like Kingdom Hall?
No.
Jehovah's Witness Kingdom Hall.
On Jehovah's, that's hilarious.
You have to type Kingdom Hall though, see what it does with that. Because Jehovah's Witness is like the most like black and white like thing there is.
I don't think it's gonna get the Protoss Z-Lot very well, but I think that this should be interesting. That's for sure. Yeah, it's not recognizing the StarCraft characters very well.
Yeah, well, your last one is like, it looks like something off of Star Wars mixed with Alien.
Like it's Halo and
Yeah, well,
stuff.
yeah, well, the one before that one is like Star Wars mixed with Alien and Predator. That one's not that bad, actually.
This is interesting.
That one's not that bad compared like in consideration to what you typed.
There's your Kingdom Hall Protoss
So that,
Z-Lot.
it actually didn't do that bad either.
Yeah, that's pretty insane, huh? It's pretty cool. Alright, one last one and I should probably go to bed.
See, I said time. How old am I really to enjoy this? You know?
Oh, I could do this all day, dude. This is just so fun. Let's do something that's kind of funny.
Stick figures, bows and arrows with a tank.
Let's do stick figures.
Stick figures, bows and arrows with a tank and
Stick figure armies facing each other.
opposing facets or whatever that's called.
Each other, drawn by an elementary school child. In 4th grade. It's gonna draw the child probably. Armies consist. Stick figure armies consist of 2 platoons with archers, swordsmen, catapults, and modern tanks. All drawn in pencil on lined paper with clouds. I definitely drew clouds. I won't draw the clouds. Alright. This should be interesting. Stick figure armies facing each other, drawn by an elementary school child in 4th grade. Stick figure armies consist
The
of
last 3 ones have basically been the same,
archers,
by the way.
swordsmen, catapults, and modern tanks, all drawn in pencil on lined paper. This is better than what I would have drawn. Bigger armies.
Their heads are super even for. That's pretty detailed. What did you say? It was a kid that drew it though. This kid's a savant, bro.
This kid, like the shading on
Yeah.
like, the stick figures is so impressive.
Well, the
Like,
shading on those
even-
tanks more than anything.
I know, the tanks are great. The stick figures, like down at their feet, that shading is incredible.
Are those supposed to be like setups for a catapult? Some of them got swords too.
Oh, dang, look
Sticks.
at this, bro. This is crazy.
Bro, where did they go? Where is this?
2 armies
They're probably-
facing each other.
They're in Africa for sure.
Arrows in the air being fired at the other army. Arrows and other.
The first one could have been in like England. The first one could have been in like England, but the next one's definitely in like Africa. Watch out for the stick. Watch out for the stick, you machines. It might just grow on you.
Missiles are hitting other opposing troops. Let's see. Some people are getting hit by arrows and missiles. This one should be interesting. Two armies face each other, arrows and other artillery missiles in the air being fired at the others. Some arrows and missiles are hitting opponent troops. This should be interesting. If I do say so myself. Whoa! Now we're getting somewhere. I guess. This is chaos, bro.
All right, I'll give you a.
Now we're at war.
I'll give you an easy scaling triangle then. Now that we're at this, it would be I'll give you a real good scaling triangle. Okay.
Let's hear it.
80, 70, and 30.
Wait, what? What do you mean?
Those are the angles.
I don't understand what to write.
You said scaling's all different angles, right? I'm just saying 80 degrees, 70 degrees, and 30 degrees are the angles of the triangle. That's a really, that's a super easy scaling triangle. What?
Okay. Are you telling me to write something, or are you just
No, I was just looking at all this war stuff, and I just thought of scaling triangle. Because scales are mostly always used in war. If you really want to know. If scales are used anywhere more than anything else, it's always war. But that's like the trick. War is basically, it's either a trick, either you get it or you don't, dude. But if you get the trick, then here's the ultimate scale of like war. It's just like, there's fog of war, there's also a scale of war. In the end, you better just fight reality. Because that's funny, you can say that either way. Like, you better just fight reality, which means like, if you're actually doing that right, you'd probably never get in a fight. Better just fight reality.
To add some scalene triangles, so there you go. You got some scalenes there.
Yeah, but now we just like created like a, now it is like humans versus angels now though. Now that is it was like humans versus each other. Now they finally have a common enemy, the angel. The angel showed up and they all just pointed their weapons upward. That's an old Bible story. The angel shows up and then they team up for a minute. The angel shows up and then they're like, "Get the angel."
Yeah, this is escalating quickly.
Get the angel. My other thing was like the next step of Chat GPT is it's got to become a game somehow. The game always equates everything to. It's like, is it really a game or not? You know what I mean? Like, what do you consider that? Like, Who is it a game with? More than anything, ChatGPT is always going to say something about you. Like, we can call this the ChatGPT. We can call this the University of Utah, bro. Let's get a degree at the U.
Alright, now we're getting closer to something I still couldn't have drawn, but, you know, almost. There's still some scalene triangles in there for you, too.
How real do you want to be, dude? You want to be real, real? Then you should always just consider death. If you can draw death, bro, you might draw the greatest thing that ever was.
There's some good infantry in there. I like this. You got some swords, man.
Trying to give you something here. Just like you should tell it to draw death. See what it does then.
Alright.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying because you're like a real realist. Because guess what, dude? There are people out there, Weston. There are people out there that'll be like, "Hey, look what I drew." Because it's like you basically, you know, like brought it towards you. You know, there are people out there who's like, yeah, I drew that. I'm just saying, like, you're like such middle ground, bro. Like, I don't know, are you a realist or not? If you're a real realist, maybe if you could draw death, that would be an accomplishment in terms of the art world. I don't know if you'd want to draw that though. Just saying.
This is what it drew when I said draw death. Pretty cool.
It actually looks like you know what I think when I see that? Looks like did you tell it to draw like those mountains or anything? It looks just like he's like super big, dude.
All I said was draw death.
Really?
That's what he came up with.
He actually just looks like he's like, to me, like really, I don't know. Your last couple ones, the angel one, you had another one where it was. That one's like much more all-out comic warfare is the one before this one. This one, death, dude. You want to know what I portray death as in this one? If like, because you can still have skill as like a commentator in reality. You know what I mean? Like if you want to talk about real skills, he's like just leaving everything, bro. Maybe he's like life. He's just leaving, but because it's just like, yeah, maybe. And if I was to try and bridge that, maybe he just means meaning. Because he's like so blocky, but at the same point in time, he carries something that is like an itch. You know what the sigh really is like? Or especially like a harvester's sickle like that? Like a harvesting swath? That's like a... It's like the idea of an itch, bro. Because it's like, how does that even get used? It's like the idea of an itch. What'd you say for that one?
I said make him happy. And then it drew that. Like,
You should say, you should type this.
And I said, make him a happy guy you'd like to talk with. And then it came with
Okay, well now he just looks like a farmer. But, like he just looks like a farmer right there.
The second one's pretty sick though too. With the
Like I said, just watch out for... Just watch out for...
His
Yeah.
cloak is disintegrating. It's super sick.
But farming, you know what the whole metaphor of farming is? Like you talk about like Farmville. It all just goes back to our whole conversation. Nietzsche saying God is dead. Or like, God is just obscure, dude. There's an old joke about the devil. And he, like, the devil's, like, it's probably a bad joke or whatever, but the devil's making fun of Jesus. And he says, like, the guy was always obscure. Because they say, like, the devil's in the detail, you know what I mean? So the joke of the devil about Jesus, basically, or God even, is just like, the guy was always, like, obtuse.
I just told it to draw a humanoid rainbow.
You should say, have it draw this.
It's like it's creating a humanoid rainbow, whatever in the world that's gonna look like.
Bro, that could be real messed up, bro. That might look worse than all these previous ones.
Whoa, that looks freaking weird.
I was thinking it might do something weird with that.
It's pretty weird.
I call that, you know what I call that, bro? A bite test, bro. The second one's not as bad.
Alright, what did you want me to have it draw?
Have it draw like, death leaving life.
Death leaving life?
Yeah. See what it does with that.
Draw. Alright, this is the last one I find you go to bed.
Like death is life. See how it portrays life and death.
Generate images based on the concept of death due to our content privacy.
Really?
Really? That's what you said. Let's see.
What about those like previous ones though?
Yeah, it's I can draw death in like a symbol, like a Grim Reaper. Would you like me to do that? And I said, yeah, sure. Let's see if
Just type this then. See what it does with this. In my book, this is almost as bad. Type in life leaving. Type that.
here, let's see if I
See what it does. See what it does with that. Type in life leaving.
I went on the previous chat with the Grim Reapers and I did the death leaving life one. And so it's adding on to what was there already. So and it gave me this. This is death leaving life.
Okay, see what it does with this. Life leaving.
Life leaving death?
No, just say life leaving. And don't even do anything in relation to any of this other stuff. See what it does.
Draw life leaving. It's gonna build off the Grim Reaper concept somehow.
Is it gonna make those connections?
It's in the same chat.
Is it gonna make those connections?
Builds off previous chats.
It is a little bit like clever. It is a little bit like clever about that to an extent.
It's interesting how it's doing this rainbow thing.
It's just instead of with text, it's just with images.
Alright, there's your life leaving.
That one looks more. That one's actually kind of interesting. It's like that one's like going into infinity.
Yeah.
That one's more straight than the death leaving. Like, just look at those two for a second. Like the death leaving one, it's like almost all like they actually drew real circles. The other one, it's like just pure. It's real straight. Kind of interesting to think about. Do you want to like think about something?
Be crazy, man. It's pretty sick. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. It's so fun. I just do this for a long time. Has shown that I am doing this for a long time. Alright, I did another one in a new chat of life leaving. And
That last one's not that bad.
literally a soul leaving this guy's body into heaven.
That one looks like it's out of the Bible.
This is like, this guy's dead. His soul is leaving his body.
Everything, all this stuff, Weston, is gonna equate with like you want to hear the funny thing about art? It's the same thing with selling. Like eventually you have to equate with everything, which is just like the idea that it's worthless. Which is just like the idea of like your interest in it, really. You know? Because like what I can tell you about seeing great things. I can make it simple that, like, at the beginning of this conversation, I was saying something like, oh, well, what, you know what I mean? Like, what about before the internet existed? How would you ever know? Kind of thing. Well, you could always go down stages of denial, which is just like, well, one stage left of that form of denial is to say something like, oh, yeah, well, you know, it all just comes back to a form of control. Like, you know, and like seeing something, you know. So it's just like, okay, well, we can talk about like going back in time. If we're like realists and we say like time is both independent and connected, basically, you know, how much so is the real question. But like the realistic way to like look at and to like equate this with the past is probably I mean, there's a few things about the past that can be said in comparison with today. First off, they say that the heavens you could see, like, if we're just being realistic, they say that the heavens, you could see the heavens like extremely clear. Like just even just like 1,000 years ago. Like the night sky was basically like pure or whatever. So I mean, probably all you had to do was like look. Maybe I just did equate it right there. Like, if you wanted to actually really see something amazing, all you had to really do was like look up, which is kind of just like this. Funny enough, and that's pretty easy. And there'd almost be, and it would be a very similar reaction to this. It's just like you'd almost have no idea if that was you or if it was the beyond. And you want to really know how you then play with that even more? It's all the same thing, bruh. You have your hands, and you just change how it is that you look through your hands at the heavens. You can probably see a lot of things, bro. That's probably how you equate the internet with the like realist past before we go one stage of denial again, which is like just going back to God. But yeah, like just like this side of like reality of like you want to equate like the idea of the internet with like actual like I don't know what you do believe in like death, but you also have like some subtle grip on like things being independent and dependent. Life has like some progression. You don't quite know exactly what's going to happen after death. You do believe like that some things are provable, but you have like some questions yourself. You know, the celestial sky at the night. Yeah, realistically, you could probably just like put your hands up and like form tons of crazy shapes. And I mean, supposedly, it looked wild, bro. Like supposedly, just the heavens at night, even 1,000 years ago, basically just looked completely wild in comparison to today. So all you probably had to do is hold your hands up and change the way you look through your hands. Oh, I want to see an eagle. All right. And that might equate to, it might be more black and white, but whatever, but it might equate to this to some extent because realistically, like, how much can this thing do what you want before, like, you just saying, like, gold? What happens if you just type in gold? What does it do then? Like, that's like the breaking point of it, because it's like, okay, well, yeah, we're, like, seeing things, but can it really do something? Like, type in gold. Yeah.
I'll try that one. Go. Draw. Go. Draw an image of gold. Alright. Oh, it's a nice, sleek, pure bar.
All you said was gold?
Troy pounds right
All you said
there.
was gold? This is what came up?
Yep. Alright then, bros.
21.2, huh?
It's 2 in the morning here, and I gotta wake up tomorrow at like 7:30.
Alright.
So, but it's been good to talk with you, man.
Alright, man.
Talking with you, it's fun. And
I don't see the Troy ounce mark, though.
What's that?
I said I don't see a Troy ounce mark, though.
I know, must be fake. That's too
21.2 carats, though. That's pretty pure.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's a pretty good hunk of gold. 21. I'm just saying it's probably in carats, you know. It doesn't tell you how much it is though. I don't know, maybe that's 21.2 pounds. Maybe it did some like weird like mathematics on that, and like it's like 21 carats, but it's also like 21 pounds. Troy is anyways, before I get into that, before I get into that,
We'll settle the debate. There you go.
Does it look as good though? See, that one looks more silver.
Still looks pretty good.
I'm sure that anyone would appreciate to have either one of them.
Yeah,
It's like me saying like, oh, what drumstick was better at Thanksgiving, Branson's or like Ryan's? Well, guess what? In terms of like,
bro, I gotta go to bed, man.
All right.
I'm tired. It's 2 in the morning.
Okay.
So, but I love you, man. It's fun to talk with you. Let's talk again soon.
I love the idea, bro. I love the confidence, bro.
Let's do it.
You know me, bro. I love the confidence. I love the idea.
Hey, you rest easy, and we'll talk again soon.
Be your best self.
Hey, you too. You too. All right, man. Bye-bye.
Bye. Dogs. Open, I say. Somewhere someone's just like, you're not a leprechaun. And they're like, but he jumps just like one. Hey. obviously. Activate it. Let's just activate it. I think it's like a feeling. Probably a really weak one. Welcome to unreality. We're like balanced because we just like talk about it for like an hour. Like I'm at the computer store. Like I'm at the computer store playing this. Just don't be the guy. Just never be the guy, alright? Don't ever be sexist. Like, you're picking a side. There are plenty more words to say that don't have a battle to go with them. And don't be racist because, man, if you really are competitive, why the are you letting them know your next move? You know? Hey, you guys want to see something really scary? What am I? You know? What have I been? You know, the stages to all this? And anything, really. I'm just like a tech geek, you know, stereotype kind of a little bit. Watch out for the familiars. No matter where you are. Listen, it's all competition. Especially where people can't tell you if they're better or not. Do you think I'm talking to you about that one? Always. I got it. What it is. Like I said, just don't be the guy. Don't ever be the guy. Seriously, don't ever be the guy. if you say anything other than ride me, it's probably competition. Stay mean. Stay mean. For like infinite armor. It's like doing this level. They're actually like find a position. I think it's like Doom Eternal. that strategy. Run and gun. demons are these? You know, the normal kind? They're just like the normal kind of demons. Really? They say there ain't no rest for the wicked, but maybe there's pieces. Who did what? So close, I can feel it. It's like how to... show you guys even more interesting things. Might be just as scary. Real. few more. Was that something I said? It almost looks like we could, like, have a key to a city.